word ethics being mentioned anywhere, what comes to your mind? What comes to your mind? Ethics. Whenever they mention the word ethics, what comes to your mind? Can somebody in this case here define for us the word ethics before I really get to tell you? Yeah. If you're asked to define ethics, what do you tell us, ladies and gentlemen, do this school of thought of ethics talk about? Remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is quite deep for you. This is quite deep for you. We have two types of ethics here. We have what we call teleological ethics, teleological ethics, and then we have what we call deontological ethics. Now, assuming, ladies and gentlemen, that today, you want to take, in this case here, your youngest daughter, who could be, say, 3 years old, not 3 years older, already this person started knowing, say your youngest daughter, who could be like 1.5 years old, to a dentist. So, of course, you will tell this young kid, today, we are going to see a dentist. This kid will want you to tell her whether, for example, tooth extraction is a painful thing. So takuuliza, mami, kutolewa meno ni uchungu. Utamjibu namna gani? Utamwambia hapana. Now, ukimwambia hapana, is that ethical? Because for sure you know that this thing is painful. Is it ethical? Because the ethics is all about being honest. Being honest in all situations. Lakini ukimwambia hata uchungu kadogo, is it true kwamba ni uchungu kadogo ama kutolewa meno is a very serious, a painful thing? Right? So in this case here, ladies and gentlemen, at times, we may be required to be a little bit dishonest so that at the end of the day, what matters is the end. The end in this case here will justify the means. So long as in this case here we've got some means to an end. What do we want to achieve? So then if that is the case, then that school of thought of ethics is called teleological. At times, in this case here, I may be forced to lie simply because I would want to achieve some objective which is good. You see, the end of it is good. I would want this kid here to heal up. Right? The end is good, but in between here, the conduit here may not be right. Remember this story, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, we shall give you the handout. Don't worry, shall give you the handout. Remember this story of some gentleman. This gentleman, the gentleman here that I'm talking about, is all over in the media. I'll be able to send you a clip of this guy. This guy had a sick wife. The wife had some finite number of days she could live. She could only, in this case here, elongate her life on this world if she got some specific drug. So this gentleman wanted her wife, of course, out of the love he had for the wife, wanted this wife here to stay with him for a longer period. She had cancer, terminal disease. So she went to hospital, diagnosis, cancer, rare cancer, and the type of medicine she needs is found in this particular chemist. So in that particular chemist, the pharmacist saw a very big opportunity because he had never gotten anybody coming to ask for that kind of a drug. Because as I've told you, that drug was for a very rare cancer disease. And it was the only drug. So then this guy, the pharmacist, told this husband of this great lady who was almost going to the drain, 6 feet, and unfortunately, so he told this guy, yes, the drug is available, But how much? 1 million US dollars. 1 million US dollars. This was a poor man. Akaita mchango ya community mzima. Watu wakachanga hata ikufika 200,000 US dollars. Akarudi kwa hiyo pharmacy, akawaambia nimejaribu, nimepata 200,000 US dollars. Ule akamwambia not less than a million. If it's less than a million, even if it's by a penny, I'll not give you this drug. Remember, the days are moving on. The lady is straight away looking at what here, her grave. So jamaa akasema kwani iko nini? Akaenda usiku kwa hiyo chemist, alikuwa shawana mahali drug imewekwa, akavunja, akaiba ile dawa. Kapatia mama, mama alipokunywa kweli akarudi uhai vizuri. Akapata nguvu vizuri. Right? So of course the following day pharmacy alipofungua akapata chemist imevunjwa, akaangalia dawa, akapata dawa kuna. The suspect ilikuwa nani? Yule jamaa. Katafuta polisi, jamaa akawekwa ndani. Akapelekwa kwa judge. So jamaa akaelezea judge, hakukataa, akaambia judge exactly what happened and why he had to steal. So wewe ukiwa judge, hebu hukumu jamaa. Hebu utamhukumu vipi? What kind of judgment are you going to pass against this guy? No, I said she will be lenient. But remember, he has stolen, not guilty. Has this person not stolen? Has this person not stolen? Has this person not stolen? So, all right. What at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, he took, but remember, he has not paid value for whatever he has consumed. Burglary. He's broken into somebody's business, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, ule mtu alijibu swali vizuri. Yule aliniambia kwamba actually the best person to be jailed here is the pharmacist. The pharmacist. Yes, the pharmacist is the one in this case here to be jailed. But now, ladies and gentlemen, listen and listen to me very well. It is the end that matters. This is the school of thought called teleological ethics. The end that matters, right? In between here, I mean, we wanted this lady to be saved, right? It is the end that matters. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll come back to that story, although this is beyond your school. It's beyond your school of thought. For those of you who want to do like some executive MBA in whatever, where we teach ethics, right? We can easily land there. I'm so good in ethics. I love ethics so much because I know how good ethics is. So ethics in leadership. Ethics refers to the desirable and appropriate values and morals according to an individual or the society at large. So in this case, desirable values and morals, being morally upright. As a leader, you must be morally upright. Ethics deals with the purity of individuals and their intentions. People out there, people out here, of course, I know there is nobody here who is evil. People are what here so much evilish. We are looking at people who are ethical, should be people in these cases and gentlemen who are so pure at heart and so nice in all their intentions. Ethics serves as a guideline for analyzing what is good or bad in a specific scenario. Correlating ethics with leadership, we find that ethics is all about the leader's identity and the leader's role. So the question is, the people you are leading, you as a manager, as a leader, the people you are leading, how will they be able to gauge you as a leader? If they are asked, how is Jenny your manager? Watasema Jenny ni mzuri sana. Right? So it's very important, ladies and gentlemen, that we must be able to have the right identity. The right identity. We're not saying that don't be tough at your workplace, but be upright as a leader, because at the end of the day, we would want you to really have power that these people are able to come after. They will be able to listen to you. When you tell them that this is my vision, they'll be able to walk towards that vision without really fearing. Now, the most important thing is for us to appreciate the traits or characteristics of a leader who is ethical. This person must be very respectful. You respect everybody in your organization. As a leader, you must respect everybody, right? He respects others. An ethical leader should not use his followers as a medium to achieve his personal goals. He should respect their feelings, the concept of empathy. Respecting the followers implies listening effectively to them, being compassionate to them, as well as being liberal in hearing opposing viewpoints. In short, it implies treating the followers in a manner that authenticate their values and respect people. The other thing, ladies and gentlemen, you're supposed to know under leadership ethics is that you are there as somebody, you are there in this case here to serve. It is called servant leadership. This thing, ladies and gentlemen, of you getting seated in some comfy, reddish chair, swinging around all over as everyone else is working, is so wrong. A good manager, ladies and gentlemen, should be able to place their fingers at work, should be able to do something. There is no way you'll tell me that you are somewhere there, seated comfortably, and people all over are doing great things out there. Others are mechanics out there, toiling in every other day. You are telling me that because you're a leader in that good glass office, your work is just to sit there throwing orders left, right, and center. You can't be blessed. Remember what I told you from the word go under Gilbert's Capot principle of management, Gilbert's. We said every person in the organization must be a trainer, a trainee, and a doer, So you must, ladies and gentlemen, be willing to serve your subordinates. Serving doesn't mean that you don't delegate, really, but you must be willing to serve. For example, when your subordinate does something and they come to you for review, don't tell them, hey, no. You need to review and they give feedback in good time. So all the things that you're supposed to be executing at your workplace as a leader, be seen to be doing them. Be seen to be doing them. And that now separates between leaders, in this case here, like the company I always talk about, the one where I work under some Swedish managers. Those guys are very ethical, right? They know what is required of them, right? They know how to ask for work to be done from their subordinates. When I compare there and other places I've worked in the past, where we have got African leaders, ladies and gentlemen, most of us, in most cases, we are so disorganized. Would expect, ladies and gentlemen, our subordinates to do everything for us, including our bag. When it comes in this case here in the evening, we've got to go home. That there must be somebody, and at times this person could be older than you, simply because he's a messenger, that this person has to carry your bag from your office to your car. No. Don't use people like you stepping on them as if they're what your mats. No, that is unethical. That's not allowed. So in this case, ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you, that's a good question. I'll be able to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, justice. Be fair, be just. In this case here, ladies and gentlemen, be impartial. Be impartial. Ukipata watu wawili, these things happen every other day. Watu wawili wamekimbia kwa ofisi yako, your subordinates wamekimbia kwa ofisi yako mbio, wanaleta allegations hapa na pale. Please listen to all sides before you make a decision. Sasa kusema tunajua sasa wewe ni kisirani sana, mmoja unaonea mmoja. Hapana. Right? We are looking for justice. Very good. Iko mwenye alibebea bag sana. That's too bad. That's too bad. That's lack of exposure. Somebody who is exposed like myself, I know that in a span of 3-4 years, I'll have some of my subordinates in some other place of work where they will be my seniors, right? You'll have someone like, for example, like Uhuru Kenyatta, Minister of Finance sometime, working below some people. After some time, this guy becomes the president, right? So if this guy was carrying your bag throughout now and he has become your president, what happens, right? So the concept of building other people, building communities is quite a nice thing for you to think of. To think of. Don't be a person, ladies and gentlemen, who destroys value. Don't be a person, ladies and gentlemen, who destroys what you value at the workplace. You're building people, you're building your staff, you're building communities around you. That is something that is right for each one of us to do. However, ladies and gentlemen, when we talk of leadership for our case here, there are things that I would want you to always remember. Things that I would want you to always remember. The ethical principles of accountants. Ethical principles of accountants, are spelled by us, or rather for us, by ISPAC. The first one, if you want, an accountant is a leader. At the workplace, an accountant, a senior accountant, finance manager, straight away, you become like a director. Even if you're not a director, by virtue that you are serving, you are giving information to the board. You are a senior manager. And there is a way that a senior manager should be able to behave in terms of ethics. Number one, it is all about confidentiality. This is the concept of what here? The non-disclosure of information. Non-disclosure of information to third parties. Non-disclosure of information to third parties. Ladies and gentlemen, accountants hawafai kuongea sana. Hapana. Iko wala ambapo mmekuwa accountant lakini hamkuwa mnafaa kuwa accountant because haujui accountant sio mtu kwenda kumix na watu wengi kuongea mambo mengi. Hapana. Unapata, ladies and gentlemen, kuna mwingine, for example, nakumbuka kampuni fulani kwa tunafanya kazi, anakuja tu out of nowhere anakuambia unajua so and so, mtu akuchukua advance. Atachukua advance jana, ameomba ingine leo, angalia saa mtu kama anaishi namna gani. Once you start hearing yourself talking like that, then know straight away that you are not meant, ladies and gentlemen, to be an accountant. An accountant, even during your burial, we should be able to bury you with a lot of secrets of the company. Lakini kwa mwingine, akiwa na kitu kadogo ni kama anawashwa. Wewe hukufaa kuwa accountant. Kama hujaambia watu 10 aufurahi. Accounting is all about what here somebody, non-disclosure of information to third parties. And in case, ladies and gentlemen, you need to disclose information to third parties, there is that formal channel of whistleblowing you are supposed to follow. And that is why the Masai Mara heist never went on very well. That gentleman, as we speak today, actually alipata kazi tu juzi, he was jobless for some time. The Mara heist. Not that he did something wrong to disclose. The only thing alifanya makosa zaidi is the fact that when he thought of disclosing whatever theft that was going on there, he thought of just calling the media people. That is not how accountants behave. That's not how accountants here channel their grievances. There is always a way. You can think of, for example, your professional body. Get legal advice, right? There is a way. When you call upon like citizen media to come and air some of these stories, then they will be able to air those stories very nicely, juicy to people out there. They'll be able to promote whatever companies want to be promoted because they've gotten a story to tell. But at the end of the day, when the gentleman was being fired, citizen was nowhere to help him, right? So confidentiality is a key thing. Number 2, I've seen somebody remembering this, the concept of integrity. Integrity is all about being open and straightforward. Straightforward, straightforward, straightforward in all your dealings. In all your dealings. Always put all your cards on the table. Si tunapiga na wewe deal. Not even deal, tunataka kuandikiana contract, lakini uko na ka special card umeficha. Ndio mtu akwambia na kufichia white. No, we must be open and straightforward in all our dealings. And I know here so many accountants fail. How do they fail? Some of us will be called to the board of management to go and, for example, present some information. I know of so many people, whenever they are called upon to go and present some information, they'll even start doing creative accounting. Overstate receivables, because they would want to portray a very good picture. Then you are not meant to be an accountant. An accountant is truthful in all circumstances. How was last month bad? We never got any customer. Because if you keep on cheating that, for example, you had a customer, you're carrying over customers, I mean, they reach a time where you'll not be able now to lie. Lies, ladies and gentlemen, you can never survive with lies for so long. So integrity is quite an important thing. Number three, ladies and gentlemen, we have the concept of what here? Objectivity. Objectivity is all about what here? Independence. Is all about independence. Right? Just like the example that I gave you. Ladies and gentlemen, we must exactly know that we should never try to take sides without really listening to both parties. So we must be very objective in whatever situation that we find ourselves. We must be very objective in whatever situation that we find ourselves. We are independent. When you are independent, ladies and gentlemen, it means that your pendulum can swing to either side depending on the evidence that is provided to us. The evidence. So it's evidence. Call upon witnesses, etc. So it means that if I get good evidence suggesting that this particular party never, so my pendulum should be able to swing there. So it's free. So I must be very objective in whatever that I do. Right? Right? Number four, I saw somebody talk over professional behavior. That is what we call professional behavior. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, the way you behave as a leader in that company of yours should be in a way that at the end of the day, we shall have even the other leaders' credibility going up. People know that leaders of this company are good. How do we behave? Here, so many leaders down. So many leaders, ladies and gentlemen, they do not know in this case here how to handle what we call emotional. They don't have this emotional intelligence. They are not intelligent emotionally. Right? Hapa kuna a lot of misbehavior at the workplaces. Kwanza kwa universities ambazo nimefunza, misbehavior 100%. But the fact that you are a senior, for example, a senior gentleman somewhere, so you believe that any other lady who is around there should be yours. That is misbehavior. That's misbehavior. You need to know. Emotional intelligence is something that is quite important. Look at what, for example, is happening to the Ndishu brothers. Makosa kidogo tu, kutojizuia kidogo tu. Now the guys will be reduced to nothing. Right? And what are you chasing after all? How you behave here is so important. Don't discredit leadership in your organization. Now, this thing that I'm talking about, do you normally see it at your workplace, or I'm speaking my own things here? The thing that I'm talking about. You also know that there are some ladies also who are not very good. But the thing that I'm talking about here, is it there at the workplace? Kama mwalimu anaongea vitu zake, they're quite embarrassing, right? Quite embarrassing. Quite embarrassing. It puts you at a very compromising. How will you be able to continue leading now that lady after she tells you no? And maybe even goes ahead and escalates the matter. How will you look like? Right? Unfortunately, the kind of people, unfortunately, who do these things, again, are like us, married people. But we shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. Now, once you are a leader, remember, behavior is not about just sexual exploitation and predatory. No. Once you are a leader, ladies and gentlemen, there are things you need to start straight away running away from. Even these petty issues of what here? Corruption. Even if your juniors are doing them, wewe waachana na hiyo maneno kabisa. Ati mtu amekuja namna hii anakudunga ka 50. Juniors wako wameona, unadungwa ka 50, unadungwa ka 100, right? Ati kwa kampuni yako inajulikana kwamba huyu leader ati lazima aweze kuona invoice ya supplier, ati lazima upatiwe 100,000. Those are bad things. As a leader, we must know how to live within our means. Leadership, ladies and gentlemen, as I keep on telling you, is all about what your sacrifices. Don't get out there and you start thinking that life is all about competing, that you want to be seen with a very big V8. After that, can you finance that lifestyle? Wanza kuibia watu wengine simply because you would want to have your children, in this case, you're going to abroad universities. If you can afford, no problem. Lakini kama ni kitu ya supply unaonekana, mara ya mwisho, go to some of these, I told you when I was teaching you this personal finance thing. If you go to most of these prisons, you'll be surprised of the number of accountants who are there. People will use you. At the end of the day, it is you as an accountant who is doing what you're putting your signature there. At the end of the day, even if it's at retirement, you'll get yourself inside. Let everybody know that this person is a straightforward person. Don't misbehave. When you misbehave in such ways, ladies and gentlemen, straight away you are discrediting the entire organization. Let not you be known on issues of corruption. Ladies and gentlemen, most of these things I'm about to pursue in this world, they are vanities. When I was teaching you personal finance, tuliangalia nyumba ya Tuju. Mnakumbuka iko mwanafunzi hapa ameshaona nyumba ya Tuju kweli? Iko mwanafunzi hapa ameshaona nyumba ya Tuju. It's palatial. It's a very big house. It's like a state house. Amuongei sana leo. Amuongeza. Iko mwanafunzi hapa ashaona nyumba ya Tuju kweli kwa news. Kwa news ama wherever. Ama watu za Google. Tuju's home. Right? Tuju's home. Right? That thing, ladies and gentlemen, is so big. So big. Lakini unapata mama kwa nyumba, anamwacha, anatoroka. Anatorokea nani? Askari. Askari who is a constable. Who is a constable. Ama mama anawacha Mutua, the governor, anaenda kwa Kajama akakuimba. So, and that is why I'm telling that these things, unafaa uziangalie very objectively from the word go. Now that I know most of you are still at your initial stages of starting careers. Usiingie mambo ya wizi. At the end of the day, these things are vanities. So, hata ukijenga nyumba iko na bedroom 12, can you sleep in 2 bedrooms at a time? Can you sleep in 2 bedrooms at a time? No. 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 Not possible. I'm telling you, I've got some other kind of, exposure, which will never make me to think of stealing. Right? Right? Ukienda kama kwa golf club. Unakuta si mmefanya, for example, mmefika hole number 9. Hole number 9 halfway, kama ni 18 hole golf, mnasimama pale na wazee. Sasa si pale maybe organize buffet, depending on, for example, if it's this Barclays thing, golf tournament, organize buffet. So pale kwa buffet, of course, mimi ni amateur golfer, I've just begun. So pale unaona, wale matajiri kifika ile buffet, Jamaa samaki anasema hii samaki kwa umbali anaangalia vile iko na mafuta. Anaangalia ingine anakataa hiyo vitu karibu zote hataki. Anaita chef kando anamwambia atakaa hapa ni katikati ya kichaka. Please chukua samaki moja sijui mtatoa wapi, muniboilie tu normal. And this is a multi-millionaire. Na sasa hivyo unakuta on the other side kuna jamaa mmoja hapa kwa Kibera anakula sahani ngapi ya githeri? 3. Na baada hapo baadaye anatembea hivi akule tena motura. And the guy is very happy. So at the end of the day between these guys, for example, anaishi Karen, na anaishi Kibera, kusema ukweli na anaenjoy life. Am I telling my students in this case, ladies and gentlemen, am I telling, ladies and gentlemen, my students here to be lazy? No. The only thing that I want you guys to start knowing that it is okay to just be contented with whatever you are getting. It's okay, right? It's okay. You don't have to steal anybody's money, right? Unaenda, for example, unapata daktari. Daktari ameshaona huyu mtu kabisa anaenda kupata, ameenda kufa. Huu ni cancer case, ni very advanced, stage 4. The same doctor ameshaangalia hii hali ya huyu mwanaume ama hali ya huyu mama ni maskini huyu. Lakini the same doctor ana take ignorance ya family. Anajua stage 4 kuna mahali mnaenda. Anawaambia sasa tubuku huyu mgonjwa HDU, high dependency unit. Hata ule mbaya zaidi anawaambia tumbook ICU, right? Yule mgonjwa of course ICU namna hiyo unasikia bill mara mwisho imekuwa 4 million. Is that ethical? Na ukiangalia vizuri kwa hiyo bill unaona the doctor's fee hata ni kama 50%. Na hiyo huko background ametoka aonekani, mtu anaonekana hapa ni hospitali kidai pesa because lazima idai pesa mpaka yule daktari. And you are a leader. And you think in this case you will be alive for so long to continue eating. Right? So as a leader, if you would want to really be respected, professional behavior is a key thing. So once, of course, you finish your CP and become members of ISPAC, you'll get Mwalimu here talking so much about what here? Ethics. Ethics at ISPAC. Number 5, we have what we call professional competence. So professional competence and the due care, here we only talk about what here? Continuous professional development. Hapana enda kuwa manager, hapana enda kuwa leader ambao ni malenge. Lazima ukuwe unasoma. You must strive to be ahead of your, of course sometimes they could be better than you in many aspects, but you're also supposed to be good in some aspects than them. So you must engage, ladies and gentlemen, in continuous professional learning. Even after you clear your CP as a leader, every year, there must be something new you study. Every year, after you clear these things, for example, you have masters, etc. Start studying some of these more like you can do a foreign language. Have something that disturbs your mind in terms of learning. So I hope, ladies and gentlemen, these ethical issues are okay now. I hope you'll be able to find your own way of even explaining them better. Can I move on to something different, ladies and gentlemen? Can I move on to something different, ladies and gentlemen? Yes. You know, like the professional behavior here, you'll get a manager who books a meeting. This manager books a meeting and he comes in late into that meeting even by 2 hours without any apology. And you think that you've done something that you deserve people to clap for you. You'll pay for that dearly. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there is something that I would want you to really look at here at your own time, which is quite key in your syllabus, this concept of conflict resolution. Conflicts will always occur at the workplace. How do you get to be a problem solver as a manager? Which kind of mechanisms are you going to put in place to ensure that disputes, in this case here, will be settled and perhaps they may not occur in the future. So here, if you look at your course outline, they want you to know the concept of conciliation, mediation, arbitration, and the negotiations. Yes, negotiations. So I would want you to take a minute and tell me, ladies and gentlemen, what is the difference between arbitration? What is the difference between arbitration and the mediation? You must have heard of these terminologies out there. What is the difference between arbitration and mediation? Please, even if it's Googling, I would want to hear this from you. Arbitration and mediation. Arbitration and mediation. Because remember, it's conflicts between many parties. Perhaps in this case here, there is land that has been sold by one person to two different groups. And now they have come to you for advice. Do we go for mediation? Do we go for arbitration? What is the difference between arbitration and mediation? Please Google, and then we try to see whether we can understand this in our own way. In our own way. What is the difference between arbitration and mediation? I would really, really love to read. Actually, I've gone down just to look for your answers. Arbitration. Perhaps to give you some heads up, one of them is a court process. Very good, very good, very good. You see, like now we are being told a mediator helps parties negotiate a settlement that will satisfy all parties. A mediator does not decide a dispute. But when it comes to arbitration, an arbitrator is a judge. An arbitrator is a judge, ladies and gentlemen. Arbitration is more like a court out of what here, out of our judiciary. Outside our judiciary, but it acts like a court. And that is why whenever an arbitrator makes a judgment, and one of the parties is unsatisfied, you don't go to the high court. You go to the court of appeal. You appeal in the court of appeal. So an arbitrator is more of what here, like a judge. And actually, most of the arbitrators are registered what here? Advocates. Mediation, of course, ladies and gentlemen, you are bringing together two parties, basically to give these parties a platform to vent. Perhaps these two parties have never gotten a chance of sitting down together so that they can agree between themselves. You're bringing these parties together, right? So at the end of the day, the mediator will not really be, whatever conclusion which will be written there, which at the end of the day will be like also a contract, right? A contract, right? It will not be a resolution of the mediator. It's not the mediator who has given that judgment. No. Ladies and gentlemen, an arbitrator will come, sit down, ask each party to bring witnesses. He listens. And then at the end of the day, he is able to do what here? Jot down a judgment. A judgment. Is there any other person who has come up with a different way of capturing the two terminologies, arbitration and mediation? but they don't get so much tired. You'll be surprised. I'm going to leave you guys here live in very few minutes. Trust you me. I told you today's class is going to be very, 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 very short and interesting. Interesting. I'm not getting anybody giving me. Yes, a mediator does not decide the dispute. I like that. There are other definitions. There are other definitions. How comes I could not see this? I'm not so nice. I'm not so nice. It is the same one that was given to us by Jesus. So I expect someone else in this case here to really come and give us another angle to look at the differences between arbitration and mediation. Arbitration and mediation. Great, thanks. I can see a message. Now, this thing is all about, like I showed you yesterday, it's all about having a broad and a deep understanding. Once you have a broad and deep understanding, then things will be okay. Things will be so much okay. So you're being told here by somebody, arbitration is a formal process and can follow similar procedures to court proceedings, where witnesses can be called and evidence can be presented to argue the parties' respective cases. He's gone to conciliation is an informal process and normally involves a round table discussion. Thank you very much. He's brought in something quite interesting called the conciliation. And the conciliation is quite informal, just like mediation. Conciliation, a conciliator will try to reconcile two parties. We shall put them on a round table. Again, for conciliation, we are basically giving these two parties, especially whenever, ladies and gentlemen, like most couples will go through some conciliation process whenever they have issues. Whenever they have issues, they'll go through some conciliation exercise. So what is the difference then between conciliation, or are they the same, and the mediation? Are they the same? Somebody, that is your research. That is your area. What is the difference between conciliation and mediation? Conciliation and mediation. Conciliation and mediation. Conciliation and mediation. What is the difference? Please do your research. Conciliation and mediation. I'm waiting. I'm reading here that mediation is the process of resolving issues between parties where third party assists them in resolving dispute, while a conciliation method in which an expert is appointed to settle dispute between what here parties. Lynette says, mediation is a form of alternative dispute outside the court. Conciliation is a form of alternative dispute resolution method. It's a process of settling of dispute without litigation. It's an informal process. Both the disputed party appoint a conciliator to resolve their dispute, and a conciliator tries to settle the dispute. Robert says conciliation objective is to reconcile through concessions, while in mediations, mediator guides the discussions. We are almost there, but not yet. Almost there. So again, sorry, I'm disturbing you a little bit. I know why. I'm giving you another 1 minute. Are they the same? Are they the same? There's really a very thin line between them. You see, like now what DJC is telling us, that a conciliator, ladies and gentlemen, anybody out there can carry this. It does not follow a structure. But mediation is something, ladies and gentlemen, that is so structured, right? For conciliation, so long as you're a good negotiator, hata kama unaenda shule ya mtu, you'll be able to do what here, you will be able to really hack it, so long as you are a good negotiator. Right? And then remember the conciliations, for you to be able to reconcile, ladies and gentlemen, there must be some sacrifices you guys are going to make. Right? Everybody must be able to see the ground and wacha hii, mwingine awache hii, for you to meet at the middle. So Penna is telling us, with conciliation, the conciliator will play very good. Robert sasa ndio umeanza kujua. You see, conciliation, ladies and gentlemen, is all about being able to tell each of these parties here to see the ground. Where wacha hii, ule mwingine wacha hii. By the time in this case here we are coming to meet here at the round table, it's like we have already accepted. Right? But you see, mediation and arbitration are quite similar as well. Because under mediation, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to put these two parties together. Right? Only that arbitration is a high level. Whatever you agree there, at the end of the day, the arbitrator will be able to provide a judgment. So as Robert is telling us, ladies and gentlemen, mediation shall be meeting the two teams together. Actually, the mediator should be seen to be very impartial. Lakini ya conciliator tunamjua ni kama ule wa ile game theory. Conciliator tunajua ameenda kuula akamwambia ule bla bla bla. Ameenda kwa wala akanegotiate now kando. For reconciliation to happen, ladies and gentlemen, there must be sacrifices. So I've already given you the handout. Ningetaka sana muende musome hiyo handout on those areas. I hope I've shed some light ambayo itaweza wasaidia katika understanding. Right. So especially hizo area ni common kwa exam: conciliation, mediation, arbitration. They are very, very common. The other thing that I would want you guys to appreciate as I leave you now, ni concept ya transactional leaders and transformational leaders. Transactional leaders and transformational leaders hapa. Nataka unisikize vizuri sana. When we talk of transactional leadership, tunamaanishaje transactional leadership? Transactional. From the word transactions. A transactional leader basically is like a leader without feelings. Right? A transactional leader basically is that leader who knows that there are two ways you can make a donkey move forward. Two ways. You can either act on this donkey from behind with a stick, it moves forward. Or you go in front of this donkey and dangle a carrot. Please don't try that at home because donkeys love carrots so much, it can bite your hand. So dangle a carrot like this before the donkey, it moves. So for a transactional leader, ladies and gentlemen, I do not care. Mine is to ensure that my profits are going up. So then what I'll do, as I want all the transactions here in my company to be right, I'll give incentives to the employees. If these employees are able to hit my transactions nicely, I give them like bonuses. If they're not able to hit my targets, I punish them. To me, it is transaction that is everything. I want all my transactions to be right. Most football coaches are transactional leaders. Football coach anakuambia ukiscore ama ukicheza mpira vizuri, anakuambia for example utapata this bonus. Ukiharibu game, for example uende kwa any football game, mahali kuna coach strong, ati wewe uende ushike mpira na handball. ufanye in this case your team lose because of a handball. No matter what they'll do, they really punish you. Watapaka bench masiku mingi sana. Au mwingine anakuambia fanya sit-ups, maybe 100 to punish you. These are transactional leaders because to them, it is the end that matters. To them, they're not looking at, we have got people being involved here, right? It is the end. Hata kama utatoa damu, so long as the transactions are right, tukupatie zawadi yako, hata kama utakufa in the process, the end justifies the means. That is a transactional leader. So we are told that transactional leadership promotes compliance with existing organizational goals and performance expectations through supervision, yes, and the use of rewards and punishments. Transactional leaders are task and outcome oriented, especially effective under strict time and resource constraints and in highly specified projects. This approach adheres to status quo and employs a form of management that pays close attention to how employees perform their tasks. Now, ladies and gentlemen, remember that basically the transactional leaders view employees to be still at these lower levels of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, lower levels, number 1, number 2, number 3. They think that these guys are only motivated by the first 3. So when you give them money, they'll be able to think about what your shelter, protection, right? Safety needs. They need to be loved, right? Transactional. But now when we talk of transformational leaders, ladies and gentlemen, we know that now our people are operating in these two, right? The concept of what here esteem and what here self-actualization. When you are at self-esteem and of course a self-actualization up there, you are no longer looking at money. It is not money that will be able to tell you what to do. No, someone will be able to give you 2 million and tell them, no, I don't want that money. So a transformation is all about what vision do I have? It's all about being able to sell your vision and get people supporting you without giving them any money. So on a transformational leadership, like we have Barack Obama, anasema, yes, we can. How many people fought for the yes, we can slogan? They were able to see it clearly, right? In Kenya here, is there any person, you guys among us leaders, you'll be able to say he's a transformational leader? He comes up with ideas and people are able to follow really through without using money, or rather, even if they use money, you know, when we talk of transformational leadership, it doesn't have to be like leading people to the right direction. Like Hitler was a transformational leader because he came up with an ideology and the people were able to follow him blindly to their deaths. So please don't tell me that in Kenya we have got none of the leaders being transformational, where in this case here they are able to simply come up with the statements, and so many people are able, even the learned ones, without questioning, they're able in this case here to blindly follow, to blindly. Wanasema baba, but to me, I think it's Ruto. I'm not a supporter of Ruto, or rather, I wouldn't even take anybody's voters card, right? But there are those people who will come. You see, like, mtu anakuja anawaambia sasa vijana nita provide kazi 4 million, right? And he has been able to distance himself from the government that is currently drawing what year salary. Some mtu kwa shida hapo ni baba anasemekana ni ameharibu. Huyu ameharibu all through. I'm not against anybody. Please get my point here. My point is that this person has come up with a slogan. He's calling it what year? Bottoms up. As much as he's giving money, I'm aware that he is giving money in some places, but trust you me, kama kuna mahali nilienda hata nikashangaa sana. Hawezi ongea mbaya kuhusu Ruto, na hata hawezi amini. Yaani jamaa wanaona kama huyu jamaa akiingia hiyo kiti ni kama kutoka na free manna from heaven. I don't know. My point is, that is what we call transformational. This guy used to be in this particular area in Jubilee government, but he has been able to, to transform is to change significantly, right? Right? He's been able to change himself, and of course, ladies and gentlemen, distanced himself from this particular thing that is going down to a level again where people are able to praise him, meaning that he'll be able to get, I don't know, right? Transformational. The thing is, where people are able to work for you simply because they would want you to raise their status, simply because, ladies and gentlemen, they believe that whatever idea you have is so nice, they can support it. So you're told transformational leadership. Transformational leadership focuses on increasing employee motivation and engagement, and attempts to link employees' sense of self with the organizational values. This leadership style emphasizes leading by example, so followers can identify with the leader's vision and the values. A transformational approach focuses on individual strengths and the weaknesses of employees, and on enhancing their capabilities and their commitment to organizational goals. I'll be able to get, ladies and gentlemen, a better description for this. Let me see whether it's here. I don't believe these are very good. No. I'll be able to get something better for that. So that is one thing that I would want you even to go and help me in this case here to do what here? To research on. Great. So I think having covered that, ladies and gentlemen, I would need one more session for me to be able to clear this, and of course, be able to move on to the next session. I believe, ladies and gentlemen, we have covered what is enough for you today. What I'll do, I owe you a few minutes here. I'll be able to even shoot a video regarding this and send it to you. It's about quality, it's not about quantity. Otherwise, thank you very much. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow for advanced financial management. Bye. Good night. Yeah, the handout. I'll send the handout to you right away after this.